All right, we're here. Fellas, ladies, gentlemen. Sorry, I had to jam out a little bit to the music, but we're here today with Shot of Sports podcast. Everyone, as you can see, I'm your host, Nazir Spencer. We're here with Chris Pittner, Sam Strachan. Oh my gosh. We're here with Nolan.
Nolan, he's back.
He's in the building.
Nolan has not been on the podcast since May. I've been giving him shit for about 2 months now, but he's here. He's a hardworking man.
Scheduled, man.
Overnight schedule. Him and Chris are now on the third shift. Hey, it's okay.
Co-workers.
Yeah, we produced, or we're gonna be working together. What, 1 day a week, maybe?
Yep,
Something like that.
that's about right. Yeah.
We're on like opposite schedules.
Amazing. That's awesome. Look, subscribe and hit the like button, everyone. Follow us on every social media page that you know of: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, all that fun stuff, so you can listen to us whenever you want, whenever you need, because we give the best sports takes in the Midwest. Don't at me, but we do. All right, listen. Now, we're going to get into some crazy topics today. First, we're going to start off with this. We got a big game tonight. College football is officially starting with every team this weekend, and the Badgers play tonight against Miami of Ohio. I want to get your quick thoughts on that real quick before we get into our first topic, which is very important, by the way, to you guys especially, because we're getting to the NFL season and a lot of things are picking up right now. So give me your quick thoughts on the Badgers, W or L. Don't need to get too far into it. We'll go over everything tomorrow or on next week about this weekend. So let me know how you guys feel right quick. I'll start off with you, Sam. You had some hardcore feelings about this game coming up tonight.
Yeah, that's even gimme. This is not going to be a walk in the park. We're not going to dog walk Miami of Ohio by any means. This is a team that's projected to win the MAC this year, according to some. One of those people would be me. I think Miami is the clear favorite coming out of that Group of Five conference. And for a Wisconsin team that is demoralized off of last year's rough season, the first year without a bowl game, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I think it was 23 seasons.
Yeah, you're right.
It was their first year without a bowl game in the century, I'm pretty sure. So
Yep.
They're coming off a demoralizing season, and they didn't really do much in the transfer portal this offseason. They brought in Billy Edwards Jr., he sounds like he's been solid in training camp, which I'm cool with, but I'm not it's not certain that we're going to win this game, is what I'm trying to say. This is not a certainty. No one should be going into this game thinking that.
Chris Nolan, how are we feeling about tonight? I personally feel like the Badgers are going to win by a landslide, but Sam
if they don't win tonight, it is going to be a rough season. Like, this is one of the easiest games on the schedule. If you're looking at their opponent, I mean, the Badgers no doubt have, like, I think the toughest schedule in all of college football. I mean, you got to look at like that gauntlet that they play of like Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon is in there, Penn State. I mean, there's so many different teams in the Big Ten that are going to be rough, and that I really, as a Badger fan, am not looking forward to all that much. So, like, tonight is, I think, kind of a must win, even though it's a non-conference game. But like Sam said, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be the easiest thing. I think that the Badgers do have going for them is the fact that they have a lot of seniors, a lot of players that are older, have a lot of experience. They don't have a lot of experience playing together.
Yep.
But they have a lot of experience in general. And so I think that could help them. But yeah, I mean, they're going to have to shake off the cobwebs, forget about the end of last season, and play like the team that almost upset the Oregon Ducks last year. Play like the team that played good against Penn State last year. You know, they had good moments last year. They didn't end the season very good, but they had good moments. But I mean, yeah, I think they're going to win, but I don't think it's going to be necessarily easy, like Sam said. But I mean, this is about as must win of a game as you have in week one, because if they don't win this one, they're in for a rough stretch this year.
Chris, how we feeling, man? I assume that you feel that we should win this game as well.
Yeah, I actually went down to Camp Randall this morning. I was sitting in on some live shots and whatnot. The vibes are good in terms of the stadium. The team's feeling pretty good. They added a new lighting system this year, and they're giving out glow wristbands to everyone that walks in. Kind of like how like a Coldplay concert has like the LED lights going and stuff. They're gonna try and implement that. at least for tonight, just for fan experience, especially because it's the first game. And like Nolan said, it is a must-win game. They really have to play well tonight. There's not a lot of those games on the schedule this year where you can go, they should win that game. I count maybe 3, 4, or 5 of them in total where they play 6 of the top 12 teams or 6 teams, in the top 25 out of their 12 games, including games against Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, and Alabama. So just starting the season off on the right foot is going to be huge for this team. And I think there's going to be a bit of pressure on Luke Fickell this year as well to at least show progress. I'm not saying that he has to go 8-4 this year because I don't think that's realistic. But if this team shows clear improvements over last year, because they were consistently inconsistent is what they were last year. They had flashes of greatness, but it wasn't long. It wasn't sustained. Like they showed well against Oregon and then got blown out in their next game. So yeah, they just really have to show signs of improvement this year and show that, hey, it's just a tough schedule this year and we're going to get through it. It might not be our best season, but as long as there's signs of improvement, I think he'll be sticking around.
This is the first year of an entirely Luke Fickell assembled team. And then this is why, like, there's been Badgers fans calling for Fickell's head for quite a while, right?
Yep.
Even since like year 2. This is year 4 of Fickell. People were already calling for his head in year 2 because they expected a guy who led.
This Cincinnati is year 3, isn't it? I thought it was year 3.
It's 3.
This is 4.
Third year, yeah.
3 or 4.
This is 3rd.
I could have sworn it was 3.
Third year, yeah.
Well, okay. So regardless, though, this is a guy who led Cincinnati into the college football playoff when it was still a 14 playoff, and everyone expects instant success with this guy. That's not how college football works. It's not the NFL. These aren't professional athletes
anymore. Nope.
Oh, no. Well, yeah. So this is not professional football. You're still dealing with guys that are 18, 19, 20, 21 years of age. For everyone on the roster, you don't just have instant success with a head coaching change. But this year is the year that we need to see at least a light at the end of the tunnel of Fickell. Because if you don't see anything this year, I think we can go 3-9 this season and still have a better year than we did last year. If that makes sense to you guys.
I can agree with you on this one, specifically just based off strength of schedule. Last year's schedule was tough. Don't get me wrong. But you got Michigan on the road. You got Oregon on the road. You got Alabama on the road. Those are nigh impossible to win.
Exactly. This is.
Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
Okay. We do have it is the consensus toughest schedule in college football. Everyone acknowledges that the Badgers are their asses in the jackpot. This is the toughest schedule in college football. We can win 3 games and have a better year this year than we did last year. And as long as we get at minimum 4 games, if you can win 4 and you see bright spots and you see flashes of talent and greatness around the roster throughout the rest of the games, even when you lose, like if you can play teams like Ohio State and Penn State and Washington, even Minnesota, Iowa, if you can play all those teams tough and maybe snag 1 or 2 of those games, then the future is bright. There's only up from here. You go 2-10 this year, you got to jump ship and start over. That's the thing I got to ride with. Is if you have a horrible season, a season even worse than last year, you got to jump ship.
Well,
I mean, when you look at their schedule too, Maryland should be a win. I don't really think there's any debate there, unless they're a lot better than the consensus thinks they are and that they were last year. I think that they can steal one of the games against either Iowa because it's homecoming, Minnesota because rivalry games, anything can happen, and then Washington. I think if they steal one of those games, it's going to be a good year. I'd consider it a win, even if it's 4-8.
This is kind of crazy. Badgers do not need Graham Mertz. I don't know how he made the NFL, but he is. Now, listen, I don't think the Badgers are going to have this horrible year. I think their schedule is the hardest. I think that makes their competition a little bit better. That people, you know how some teams play down to other teams' level. I think that's going to be the instances for some teams coming up this year. But we'll get into that tomorrow. We'll talk about the game that happens tonight, or we'll talk about it on Tuesday if everyone wants to get on and talk about it, which would be great. If anyone wants to get on tomorrow, by the way, that'd be great as well. So we're going to move on to our first topic real quick. Micah Parsons. Now, when I say Micah Parsons, okay, I was working with ESPN Milwaukee yesterday, and there was a big just conversation all day about Micah Parsons to the Packers. The Packers are offering the Cowboys. They offered the Cowboys something for Micah Parsons. Now, I don't know exactly what that would be. I know that their GM is all in on Micah Parsons right now because he likes to subtly put up these words in his sentences that kind of allude to him wanting a bigger player, something that makes the Packers better. And that's obviously Micah Parsons, because who else would it be? Now, I have 3 Packer fans in here. One's a Jags fan, but he's also a Packer fan. And I'm kind of a Packer fan, just being a part of Wisconsin my entire life, but I'm mainly a Chargers fan, okay? But listen, we got a bunch of people that enjoy the Packers in here. Now, I got to know, our chances of getting Micah Parsons, and is it even a good idea to get Micah Parsons for this Packer team? Nolan, I'll start with you because we want to hear your thoughts. We haven't heard you for a while. So Micah Parsons, yes or no?
Look, it's kind of a complicated answer. If we could get Micah Parsons for a reasonable price, and that is the key part of this, a reasonable price, that would be fantastic. Look, who wouldn't want Micah Parsons on their team? He's a generational, I would even go as far as to say a generational defensive player. People are comparing it to if we got him to being like bringing on Reggie White or like Charles Woodson, when we got them and won the Super Bowl. Look, the prices that are getting put out there right now, where we would pay like maybe multiple first round picks, or you throw in some seconds in there, maybe even throw in a player ourselves, all for just Micah Parsons. And then on top of that, when we got it, we're going to say, hey, welcome to the team. We're going to give you $45 million a year. I'm saying no. Look, the Packers, I don't think Micah Parsons is the piece that is going to put us over the top. And that's the key. Like, he's a great linebacker. It would be fantastic. He'd obviously be the best player on our defense, I'd say, in quite some time. But, the secondary, still very questionable. The line is solid, but again, the defense, I don't know. I'm not sold on them, even if we have Micah Parsons. And again, on top of that, you are basically trading away a good chunk of the future to be like, hey, we're going to bring in Micah Parsons and hope that he wins us the Super Bowl, basically. And I don't see it. I don't really believe that he is going to be the piece that puts us over the edge. So again, if we could get him for some sort of reasonable price, yes, but in my personal opinion, I don't think Jerry Jones is going to trade him. I really don't. I think Jerry Jones is going to be a stubborn SOB and be like, I am going to keep you. You are under contract, and I am going to keep you. And I don't care if you choose not to play. I am going to keep you for this year, whether you like it or not. And I just don't. I don't know where all these rumors are coming from. We got John Kuhn tweeting out about it, and we got these people on Reddit that are, talking about Packers are landing Micah Parsons. They're in trade talks. Mm-hmm. I don't see it happening, and I don't really want it to happen if we're going to pay an arm and a leg for him.
Real quick. So the thing that the consensus, the trade that people are saying is like 3 picks and
Rashawn Gary,
right? Yeah,
and Cooper or Romeo Doubs. Okay, those are the 3 players I've seen that's involved in this trade. Now,
I mean, if it's Edger and Cooper in my eyes, it's an immediate no. He's one of the best young defensive prospects in football right now.
I'm saying those are the 3 players that I've seen in every single mock trade involving Micah Parsons. Okay, now
I would be worried to get rid of Rashawn Gary even.
But see, that's the thing though. I think Rashawn Gary is very well. You can trade him for Micah Parsons and like 2 firsts and a second or something like that.
I mean, it depends on what you trade on top of Rashawn Gary, because the Cowboys could be making out with the guy who's going to get you a consistent, probably 8 to 10 sacks every season as a solid edge.
With 2 of those picks, those first round picks, you can get an Edgerrin Cooper, or you can get a Rashawn Gary again. You know what I mean? With 2 of those picks, that's why I don't think.
But that's also the thing is that's an if. It's an if.
But that's my thing. Is like, if we throw in Rashawn Gary to that package, I am not comfortable throwing 2 first rounders on top of it, and maybe
that's what I'm saying too.
On top of that, like 1 first rounder, Rashawn Gary, and then maybe a second rounder and a couple lower round picks. Then we're talking. But if we're throwing Rashawn Gary, 2 first rounders, a second rounder in there, I'm sorry, that's just too much for him. He's I think a generational defensive player, but he is not what is going to put us over the edge. And you are essentially selling the future farm, those first rounders that could land you some big time players like you're talking about, some, players that, like an Edgerrin Cooper. You're essentially giving that away for saying, hey, Micah Parsons, you are going to lead our defense. Oh, and by the way, Keyshawn Nixon's our best corner, and we're going to have to invest a lot in that, but we're not going to have any money or any picks to invest in that because we're bringing on Micah Parsons.
So I was just curious. So I just did a quick search. The base salary cap of the NFL right now is $279 million and change. Jordan Love,
by the way, in the bank. Just put that out there real quick.
Jordan Love is making what, $55 million a year?
Mm-hmm.
Micah Parsons will be making $45 to $50 million a year. That'll be over a third of your cap tied up into two players. I just don't know if that's a smart decision moving forward with a lot of young pieces right now, like Jaden Reed. If they trade Dobbs, that's one thing, but guys that are going to want extensions after a year or two. Christian Watson, who I don't know if they're going to extend. Jaden Reed.
Who's going to deserve an extension outside of those two?
I mean, you're going to have to pick and choose so much. You're going to have to gamble on the draft because sure, Micah Parsons is a generational piece, but you're also going to have $100 million tied up into two players. I just don't know if that's good business.
Fellas, the simple answer here is this is not complicated. Micah Parsons is far and away leagues ahead of Rashawn Gary. If that's what the offer is for Micah Parsons and the Cowboys want that, Brian Gutekunst would be catapulted into the sun in my eyes if he did not make that move. Dude, 3 less seasons played than Rashawn Gary, and he has over 50 more tackles than the guy. He's out-sacked the guy. He's done more in pass pro. He's got sent more times at the quarterback than Rashawn Gary. And, dude, 3-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler versus 0-time All-Pro. There's the math. There's the math.
Yeah, but the picks on top of it are the problem. Obviously, anybody would do Rashawn Gary for Micah Parsons, but the picks on top of it make it too rich.
I guess if you look at it from a different way, though.
If you get Micah Parsons, they're going to be through 20 through 30. You got to think about that, too.
Yeah. If it guarantees you a Super Bowl opportunity, why not? I think it will. Even without
my question is, does it, though?
Yes.
You think it guarantees? Yes. So you think that even with just adding Micah Parsons to this team, they're better than the Eagles are?
I think without Micah Parsons on this team, the Packers are still one of the top dogs out of the NFC.
Real quick. The Packers were the one team in the playoffs last year and the regular season that played the Eagles the hardest. The Super Bowl champions, okay, by the way, played the Eagles the hardest out of anybody in the NFC that I've seen, at least, okay? And obviously
they nearly won week 1 in Brazil.
They should have won.
Played them really good in the play. The score does not dictate the story of that game. It does not.
If you get Micah Parsons, let's say you get him and you trade. Let's say you trade Rashawn Gary and your first picks. You're getting a better player to put at your line to compete at a higher level than you have been the past 2 years when you played the Niners, when you played the Cowboys in the playoffs. You have the opportunity, and I know you guys didn't do well in your division last year, but this helps you catapult you back up to the top almost. I don't think it'll win you a Super Bowl automatically. I think that it takes a little bit more than that. But Micah Parsons is the right step, the right direction if you want to get there. You know what I mean?
Now, pull up Adam's comment about the Packers needing corners. Pull that one up. I agree, but here's the thing. Those who know football know that an elite pass rush makes up for that.
Yep.
And it's not like our corners are dog water by any means. Like they're not. It's not the greatest secondary. I will far and away acknowledge that. However,
the safeties are fantastic.
Pass rush, yeah, is that an elite front seven, which adding Micah Parsons would make us an elite front seven. No matter how you slice it, that will make up for a weakness in the secondary. Rushing a quarterback, giving him less time to throw, induces panic and makes reads shorter. He's far more prone to making mistakes, regardless of the quarterback. You're far more prone to making mistakes. Now, an elite offensive line would kind of combat that, and then that would be a tough matchup for Green Bay against whoever has a great offensive line. But regardless, adding Micah Parsons, you're adding a Hall of Fame caliber edge rusher. You cannot pass this opportunity up. If it's on a silver platter right in front of you and Goody says no, we really have some priorities we got to keep check of.
I don't know about
Can I
Jalen
also
Smith
just
right
say,
there.
I want to say about that comment, quarterbacks completely stopped throwing to his side of the field the second
Thank
half of
you.
the season because he's such a
Thank
ball
you.
hawk. Are a few of them, yeah, Mickey interceptions? Yeah, maybe. But whose aren't? All ball hawks get Mickey interceptions. That's just how that works. You think DeRon
just
Bland at
smarter.
5 pick 6? Yeah.
The
I
best
mean-
thing you can do as a defensive back, like the best stat that you can have as a defensive back, is very few interceptions, but a lot of like few pass deflections, because that means that people are not throwing over to your side because they're scared to throw over to you. And when you got
The less that you
Xavier
hear about a
Xavier
defensive
McKinney,
back, the
I
better.
have seen a lot of Xavier McKinney disrespect this offseason. Like, I'm not
Well-
gonna lie. Like, people are not treating him like the safety that he is. I think he is right up there as like one or two of the best safeties in the league. And I think that he's been getting kind of disrespected this year.
Nolan, I want to hear your final thoughts on why you think the Micah Parsons trade is not worth it, because you are clearly the only one here that doesn't believe that it'll
Look.
put you over the hump. Just real quick, I want to know your last thought.
Again, getting Micah Parsons would be fantastic. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I really don't want Micah Parsons on the team. I would love Micah Parsons on the team, but I think that he is getting a little overpriced for especially being in a spot where he obviously does not want to be in Dallas.
Mhm.
Like, if you're Green Bay, yes, you could go trade all of this and get him this year, but who's to say that you don't wait it out a little bit and maybe go try to pick him up when the Cowboys inevitably get rid of him, because he is going to sit out. He has the same agent as Jalen Ramsey, and if the Cowboys keep him, he will sit out this season. I can almost guarantee you that. But I don't know. I just think that it's a little rich. It's a little rich for my taste. If we're talking about multiple first round picks, a second round pick, look, Rashawn Gary, again, he's a good talent. He's obviously nowhere near Micah Parsons, but if you're throwing him in there along with all of those other picks, I don't know how comfortable I am again. And then signing Micah Parsons to a $45 million a year contract on top of that, it's a lot. And again, he's a fantastic player. I think he would be fantastic on the defense, but again, unless we go out and get another corner, I really don't know if it's worth it. And to Sam's point, yes, a good pass rush does make up a little bit in the secondary, challenges quarterbacks.
Especially
but-
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, no,
I was
and
going to say,
don't get me wrong.
So the
Your division.
Packers went 1-5 in their division last year, and were a fingertip away from 0-6. But if you think about it, if they traded for Micah Parsons, and say Jeff Hafley is a very aggressive defensive coordinator, he loves to blitz. That's one of his favorite things to do.
Mhm.
If he gets Micah Parsons, there's two very young, inexperienced quarterbacks in this division, and another one who can't move much out of the pocket. So that's a great opportunity for the Packers to wreak havoc on their divisional opponents, because Caleb Williams, a lot of talent there. He's a little bit unproven. JJ McCarthy, I don't know what we're going to get out of him yet. It's still too early to tell. And Jared Goff is not speedy. He can't escape the pocket well. I think that adding Micah Parsons could give us an advantage over our divisional opponents.
Now, hear me out. If we go all in, if we get Micah Parsons in like a blockbuster trade, and we have all these pieces that we're giving away, draft picks, Rashawn Gary, or another player, let's go fully all in. Let's go get out and sign a veteran corner. Let's just say we're going all in on these next few seasons. Stephon Gilmore is still out there, and as much as you can say he's obviously dropped off from where he was at his prime, but he is still probably one of the best free agents that are still available. Let's go get him if we get Micah Parsons too. Then, if we're going all in, let's go fully all in and, go out and get some more talented pieces. Because again, our corners aren't, there's probably one of the worst in the league, but, I think that they could hold their own. but I don't, I really don't feel all that comfortable having Keyshawn Nixon, kind of be our number one cornerback this year.
I mean, the thing about the cornerback room is too, this is basically what the room was last year, just without Jair. I mean, there's a lot of guys who could play like a CB2, CB3 role. They just don't have
Right.
the one on this team. Like, I don't think necessarily out of the 3 starters, any of them are bad corners per se. It's just there's not any like legitimate good corners in there either.
Listen, guys,
Where's Jaden Sullivan when you need him?
Right. Look, we've been talking a lot about these divisions, and we've been talking about who's gonna win, who's gonna be great. Now we're gonna move on to this next topic. NFL divisions. We are going to be ranking them. Okay. Listen, I know it's a little blurry, but you can see it perfectly fine. All right. Listen, we're gonna start with the NFC North because that's where we are right now. We're in the North, and I want you guys to go one by one. We're gonna start with Nolan, and we're gonna end with Sam, and we'll end with me, and then we're gonna rank the NFC North first to last. Who's first, and then who's in the middle, second, third, and who's fourth. Okay, this is gonna be a fun little game we have. I want to hear everyone's thoughts because I know they're all gonna be different. Maybe they're the same for the North, but for especially just the rest of them, we're gonna be quick with this because we got a lot of stuff to talk about right after this. With our power ranking. This will help us get into our power ranking, by the way. So, Nolan, I want you to start off with the North. Okay, the NFC North. You can start top from bottom if you want. AFC North down to the NFC West, up to you. But as of right now, what do you want to choose? We can
start. Yeah, we can start in the NFC. NFC North. In last place, I have the Minnesota Vikings. And
Wow.
I know a lot of Vikings fans are, they're honestly probably happy that people are, kind of ranking them that low again because people that did not, myself included, did not think they were going to be as good as they were last year. But I just think that JJ McCarthy is going to have some growing pains, and I don't think that they're going to be bad by any means. I don't think they're going to be a bad team. I could see them close to like the 500 mark. But somebody's got to finish last in this division here. And in my eyes, that's the Minnesota Vikings. I think it'll take time for JJ to really get his bearings. And I think that, this team, I don't know. I think that the Bears are going to get a jump. And I think that the Lions and the Packers are still, right there at the top. So I think that the Vikings, again, finishing near the bottom or finishing near 500, I should say, but at the bottom of this division, they're going to be fourth. In third, I have the Chicago Bears. I think they're going to take a jump, but I think that, their offensive line is still going to struggle a little bit. And I still just think that this team is not as talented as the Packers and the Lions. I could see the Bears absolutely competing for a playoff spot this year, but I don't think that they're going to finish above third in this division. Number 2, I have the Detroit Lions. And this is not Packers fan bias.
This goes back to the Rashawn Gary thing because no one clearly thinks they're good enough to win. Make noise in the NFC.
The Packers won 11 games last year. Yes, they were the 7th seed again, but they won 11 games last year.
The Vikings won 14.
And okay, well, the Vikings, they have a rookie quarterback who didn't throw much at Michigan and who we didn't get to see last year and who's coming off of an injury that was season ending the year prior. That's where I'm at with the Vikings. But as far as the Lions and the Packers go, look, Lions, you got new coordinators, new offense, new defensive coordinators. You lost some big pieces on the offensive line. And you have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. Granted, the Packers also have a very tough schedule this year. I could kind of put these teams 1A, 1B in the NFC North, but I think that the Packers can maybe edge them out by a game. And, again, going back to the Micah Parsons thing, if we got Micah Parsons, I'm not going to be a denier. I wouldn't be happy about the price, but I wouldn't be denying the fact that he would definitely bring something to the defense. I don't know if it's the winning piece to get us to a Super Bowl, but I think, it could be a piece where, like Chris said, would pressure a lot of those, 2 young quarterbacks in the division and, wreak some havoc in the backfields. And so I think the Packers can edge out the Lions. That's why I have them. Packers first, Lions, Bears, finishing with the Vikings. All these teams, I think, are going to be around 500 for the Vikings, but the rest of them above. I could see all four of these teams, I should say, in the playoffs this year.
All right, Sam, go ahead real quick with your NFC North predictions.
So, like Nolan said, unfortunately, in the best division in football, someone has to finish last, right? And it's not a slight at any of the teams. I think in fourth, it's still going to be the Bears. I think they're still in the fourth. They're still in the basement of the North. Not to say that they're a bad team. They improved again this offseason. Caleb Williams showed flashes last year. I still have them at fourth. I'm just not entirely sold yet. I want to see what Ben Johnson does in year one. In third, I'm going Detroit. I am going Detroit. They lost a lot. They lost some helpful arms up front, and they lost both coordinators. I don't think we're not talking enough about how losing arguably the two most important positions on your coaching staff. You lost both in one off season. You replaced one in-house with Kelvin Shepard, and the other guy, forgetting his name right now, I'm not sure why I'm drawing a blank, but he's been around the league for quite a while as mostly an assistant coach with linebackers or passing game, stuff like that. He's been an assistant coach for a while. You add those two guys, I need to see what happens first. They still have a lot of talent at the skill positions, but they lost some key pieces over the offseason, and their two coordinators are both gone. Second, I've got the Vikings. Perfect system for a quarterback. First, I got Green Bay. They're running back again this year. Basically the exact same roster minus Jair, but Jair was really a non-factor over the last couple seasons. So I'm going Bears, Lions, Vikings, Packers, 4-1.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
So I'm going to do two different rankings here. I'm going to do a Micah Parsons ranking and a non-Micah Parsons ranking, just in case, because I think that the results are a little bit different here. So in fourth place in both of them, I still have Chicago, but this isn't a slight at them at all. I think in the last two seasons, they made a lot of improvements to their roster. It's just there's a lot of young guys, and they have a really tough start to the season in terms of their schedule. We went over that one day. I could still see them finishing over 500 at maybe a 9-8 or at best a 10-7. But yeah, in fourth, I got the Bears. In third, I got the Vikings. The Vikings, not much to say here. There's a lot of talent on that team still. That defense is probably still going to be nasty this year, I would think. Very aggressive blitz scheme from Brian Flores. Obviously, the skill position players, especially at wide receiver, are incredible. Jordan Addison is out a few games, but yeah. Now 2 with Micah Parsons. I'll put the Lions at 2. Without, I got the Packers at 2. I think it's going to be between these two teams. Not much more to say here. Besides, I think that they're both pretty complete. I think the Lions are just a bit more dynamic on offense. But if Micah Parsons comes, then my opinion changes because Green Bay will have the pass rusher that they really need.
Well, I think this is already in the correct order. I think Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears is the correct answer in my opinion. I think the Lions are still going to win with all that talent on their team. I think the Vikings take a step further. I know JJ McCarthy hasn't shown us anything, but I think he's going to be fantastic this year. I think he's set up perfectly, like Sam said, with all the surrounding pieces. I think the Packers will still make playoffs as the 7th seed. Don't get me wrong, but I just think they have a really tough start to the schedule, and I think it's going to be tough. The Bears, not convinced. Not a fan of the Bears. Now, moving on to the NFC South, I think the Buccaneers win it. I think don't hate me for saying this. I think the Panthers take second. I think
yes.
I think I go Buccaneers. Listen,
I'm very torn on that one.
Listen. Buccaneers, Panthers, Falcons, Saints. Saints are just the worst team.
The Saints are going to be the worst team in the NFL this year.
My exact order. Bryce Young is going to take such a huge step this year.
Falcons, Saints. That's my NFC South prediction. Okay.
All I'm going to do for mine is flip around the Falcons and Panthers in that. So I'd go Bucks, Falcons, Panthers, Saints. Not to say that the Panthers aren't going to be good. I just think the Falcons aren't going to be great this year, right? You guys are thinking the Panthers are going to outplay them quite a bit. I think the Falcons sit around the same, but I think the Panthers finish either tied with them or just below them in the standings. So probably like a 7-10, 8-9 situation. But yeah, I got Tampa, Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans.
Bryce Young is a better quarterback than Michael Penix. So
I think I'm with Sam. I think I'm with Sam on this one. I like you said, it's a crapshoot. It could really go
Who
either
Chris
way.
two then?
It could go back. It could go
Who
back.
Chris two then, Jordan?
Whatever. I'll take it. I got 2 likes and 20 comments on one of my TikTok takes, so it's okay. But
We flexing the TikTok
but
takes here.
I think
Dude, a 20 like to comment ratio is insane.
I love it.
But yeah, I think the Saints are probably the worst team in the NFL this year. Tampa's I think pretty much the shoe-in to win the division. Between those other two, I think the Falcons skill position group is just slightly better with Bijan and Drake London, and Darnell Mooney had a good year last year. Carolina's just a bit more unproven, and for that reason, I'm going to put Atlanta above them.
All right, NFC East. You're gonna call me crazy for this, okay? Eagles first, Commanders second, Giants third, Cowboys last. Don't you might call me crazy, but I think that entire franchise is just shit. I think it's just shit. I do.
No.
I think the Giants are going to be okay. Not great.
The Giants they're going to be okay, but we're forgetting that the Cowboys still have CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. When he's healthy at full strength, Dak Prescott is annually throwing for 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, right? So
you're correct, but I think that,
and if they still have Michael Parsons,
they don't have a run game. I mean, there's just so many missing parts.
Watch out for Jaden Blue, dude. He's going to turn some heads. I don't think he's going to be great
if he's healthy.
But I think minimum 1,000-yard rusher.
He's not going to
minimum 1,000-yard rusher in a rookie season. That'd be pretty good. Those are some decent numbers.
What's the line?
Give me the Cowboys in third. But I think your top two is right. Eagles, Commanders. Commanders are due for a setback. Sophomore slump here could happen for Jaden Daniels. It's very, very feasible. So we'll see where it goes. But I think those two are actually pretty interchangeable in my eyes. I think for the top of a division, that's probably the most interchangeable 1 and 2 we could see this year.
All right, Nolan.
Go ahead. Last week, Nolan, go ahead. Actually,
I'll just. It might cause some ruckus. I'll try to rifle through these. I think the Eagles are going to be the first repeat winners of the NFC East that we've seen in, however many years, 20-some years. I was very hesitant to put them first just because of that stat, but I just think that they're too good. They're not going to not win it again. Give me the Cowboys in second. I really think that you guys are kind of underestimating them. They got a third place schedule. Granted, it is again all of the teams in the NFC East face a tough schedule this year. But I think that the Cowboys are still good. I think the Cowboys, I think that every year the Cowboys have had a setback, they kind of bounce back the next year a little bit. I think the Cowboys are a playoff team this year. And I think the Commanders aren't. I think they're going to be third. I think that the Commanders are the oldest team in the NFL. They are the oldest team in the NFL. I think that they're due for a setback again. They did not play that tough of competition last year. Then the teams that they beat were not all that good. There are obviously a couple of good wins for the Commanders in there, but a lot of the teams that they played, they weren't that good. And so I think that the Commanders, when they're facing a tougher schedule this year, are due for a setback. Give me them in third, and then the Giants with the fourth, with the hardest schedule in the NFL. They're not gonna. Jackson Dart is not going to elevate them enough where they're going to move anywhere. I think they're still at the bottom of the division.
Quickly, Chris, let's go.
So yeah, I'll try and be quick because we debated this a lot last week. I had a bit of a poo-poo take that the Cowboys are going to be better than the Commanders. I don't know if that's going to be the case anymore. After this drama and a first-year head coach in Dallas, I'm just not sure whether they can be better than Washington. So I'm going to go Philly, Washington, Dallas, New York.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Okay. And NFC West, I got Rams winning it. I don't think that's a debate for me. Niners, Cardinals, Seahawks. I'm crazy. I'm not seeing the Seahawks hype anymore, man. I'm just not.
Yeah, I'll piggyback right off that this year. I think that the Seahawks are absolutely going to be the last team in the division. I don't think Sam Darnold's got it. I think that they're going to be last. I think that the Cardinals are third. Give me the Rams in second. And I think the 49ers, they have the easiest schedule in the league this year, and they were decimated by injuries last season. They're going to get right back up to Super Bowl level. Like, they're going to be a Super Bowl contender this year, and I got them in first.
So
I think
this
that
is where we are.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
I think that some people are underestimating the 49ers by calling them like below average or anywhere from 16 to 20 in the power rankings. I still think this is a good team, and this is a pretty. I think the Rams are better than everyone else, but the Rams and 49ers are better than everyone else. But I think it's really a coin flip between those other two teams. Arizona is going to take a step this year, I think. They have a lot of young talent. They made a couple good acquisitions. In the
Very
offseason.
young team. Very young.
However, Seattle has a decent wide receiver duo with Cooper Kupp and JSN now. The problem with them is their offensive line. They really only made like one move to address their O-line. And with Sam Darnold at quarterback, he's going to need time to execute his dropbacks like he did in Minnesota. I think I'll go Arizona 3, Seattle 4, but that's not saying Seattle's bad. The NFC is just a very deep conference this year. There's a lot of different teams that could make a push and come out of nowhere.
Sam, go ahead.
We're here. So this is the San Francisco 49ers cycle, right? So here is Super Bowl contender. Here is injuries. Here is the Kyle Shanahan year in, year out setback, retool. And this is where the hype starts again. This is where we are with the Niners right now. And I'm buying into it. As much as I dislike the 49ers from a fan standpoint, I'm buying into that hype. Niners at 1. And I think there's reason to suggest, because of how easy their schedule is this year, that they could end up being a top 2 seed by record in the NFC this year.
Yep,
I think there's reason to suggest that. I'm going them at first. I don't think any of the other 3 teams out of this division make the playoffs, though. It's just a crapshoot from there. I'm gonna go Rams 2, Cardinals 3, Seahawks 4. So it's really similar to same lineup you guys have been doing, but I just don't think the other 3 teams make the playoffs. The Rams will sniff it, but I think they're gonna sit out. They're gonna miss out.
All right, we're gonna move on to AFC South because that's the shitty one. So we're gonna just be through this one. Texans, Jags, Colts, Titans. Simple.
Give me the same, except flip the Titans and Colts. I think the Titans will finish ahead of the Colts.
I'm with Nolan on this one. I'm about as low as you can get on the Colts this year. They might be a little bit above right now, but by the end of the season, Cam Ward has some time. I think Jawan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk coming back from injury. Ricky Pearsall is probably going to take a step this year. That could still be a really good offense, and they still have George Kittle. They have 2 running backs now.
Over Devontae Adams and Puka Nakua, we got.
I have the Rams in first.
No.
I have the Rams in first. But
no.
They have 0 wide receiving core is crazy.
Anywho,
they have a better receiving core. The Rams have a better receiving core, but the Niners to say that they have 0 receiving core is absolutely asinine.
Well, we'll talk about it another day. AFC South. Go ahead.
So
speed through it.
Colts are the bottom feeders of the AFC this year as a whole. I'm very comfortable in saying that. Titans at 3, but that's not to say the Titans are going to be a full step above the Colts. And when your quarterback is talking about just how rough your offense looks right now, that's saying something, right? And not only is his head coach acknowledging that, but he's agreeing with that too, that there's a problem on the offense, right? So offensive side of the ball for the Titans is just going to be really rough this year. At second, I'm going to go first, actually, instead. So 4 and 3 are Colts Titans.
Oh no!
Look at what Liam Cohen in year 1 was able to do with Baker Mayfield. And that talented offense. The Jags are going. Dude, Trevor Lawrence was the chosen one coming out of college, and we've seen flashes. We've seen flashes of greatness from Trevor Lawrence.
To be fair, though, to Trevor Lawrence,
he played through so many injuries the last 2 seasons. Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence was high as a kite on that field off of painkillers, man. You could tell by some of his past decisions, they were forcing him to play through so much injury, right? And now you have yourself a solid running back out of the draft. Still have Travis Etienne. If he can bounce back, that's great. Brian Thomas Jr. is a top 10 receiver in the league. Travis Hunter, they're going to be playing a big time on the offensive side of the ball. They made improvements to their offensive line, and their defense is okay. Jags in first. First round exit in the playoffs, yeah. First round exit in the playoffs, sure.
You're
but
absolutely out of your mind.
First place. I think they take the tiebreaker.
You understand the Texans have the best defense in the league, right?
It's going to come down to a tiebreaker between them and the Texans.
No,
and I think the Jags take it.
The Texans have the best defense in the league on paper right now.
Hey, you remember?
I don't know. Denver's is probably better.
3 seasons ago now.
Bro, trust me.
You remember 3 seasons ago now. Yeah, you remember they were 3-8, and I called this. Don't doubt me here.
Sam,
I know
I'm
my
just saying.
Jags. I know my Jags.
They went 9-8
James-
that year. The problem is, I could see there's no doubt that the Jags made improvements over the last few years, and I
Hope
think
so.
Trevor Lawrence will probably hopefully take a step forward because I
He's
don't
gonna
want
take
him
a
to
step
be
forward.
How many years have we
100%.
been saying that now?
You guys
Well,
get on
we
Justin
mean-
Herbert all the time.
I
Let's talk
still
about
think
Trevor Lawrence.
Houston is pretty like they're clearly above in my eyes
Yeah.
over Jacksonville. There's
Let's
just
wait and see.
I mean Jacksonville's
Let's wait
not
and see.
bad.
Whatever.
They
Did we get
an
everybody on the
outside
list?
chance at a
We
playoff
got
run.
them.
Yeah,
but
we did.
Let's move on.
All right, let's move on. AFC East. All right. We're gonna start
Did
with
we
this
do the
one.
North?
We're doing the bad ones first. Okay, we're gonna do the AFC East real quick. Bills, obviously, Patriots, Dolphins, Jets. I don't think Justin Fields has it in him. I think Tua is gonna get hurt again, unfortunately. God forbid, of course. But Josh Allen's owning that division, and Mike Vrabel is definitely gonna put up a fight, but it's not gonna be enough. So AFC East champions, Bills again. They're gonna be a 3-2 seed.
I have the same order. But the one thing I will say about this division, I'm not buying into the Patriots hype. I really don't know why they're favored in
Yeah, I don't
11
get that.
games this year. And
Yeah, I don't get
the people saying that they're a playoff team,
That's
I
ridiculous.
think is silly. They're not.
We'll get to silly in a second. You'll okay. Keep going. Keep going. Okay.
Bills, Dolphins, Pats, Jets. Pretty simple. Pretty straightforward.
Chris, go ahead.
there's still a year, in my opinion, from the Patriots being a legitimate team to watch for again in the playoff picture. I'll put Miami above them just because I think they're mediocre and I think the Patriots are slightly below mediocre. Okay. But the Jets, they're lacking some pieces. That's about it to say.
They
really.
lacking everything. All right, we're gonna do AFC West. Okay, I got at bottom. I got the Raiders. I think they're gonna be good. I do. I think they're gonna put up a lot of good fights this year. Pete Carroll, whatever. And then I got the Broncos. I don't get the Broncos side 1-8 against playoff teams, and they lost against the Bengals, who were on pace to be a playoff team. So really 1-9, but who's counting, right? And then I got Chargers. All right, yeah, Chargers second, because why not? I don't think we could beat the Chiefs yet. I don't know what it is. It's just bad karma, and then Chiefs win it again. But they are not as good as last year. I will say that. I'll just be honest. That's just my honest opinion. Chiefs will probably win it. Chargers could win it, but I see it happening. I don't know yet. I got to see them play. We'll see about the upcoming weeks for sure. Speed run. Go ahead, Nolan.
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs first. I don't think that there's any question about it. I think that the Chargers would have been more of a legit, like they could get there if they still had Rashawn Slater, but unfortunately,
Yeah,
that was the most devastating injury of the preseason. I'll put the Chargers second. I still think that they'll be good. I don't know if they'll be playoff good now. But yeah. And then these teams I think are kind of interchangeable, Raiders and Broncos. I know the Broncos made the playoffs last year.
barely.
I would be even willing to put the Raiders in third and the Broncos in fourth. I think that the Raiders, the acquisition, look, don't get me wrong, Geno Smith is no like superstar quarterback, but he is still much better than anything that they have had the past couple seasons. And Pete Carroll is a much better coach than Antonio Pierce was. I think that the Raiders can grab third, and I think that the Broncos could get fourth. The only thing that's making me say they're kind of interchangeable is I think the Broncos defense could kind of will them to some games won this year, but I'm going to put Raiders third and Broncos fourth.
Give me Pete Carroll over Sean Payton. Go ahead, Sam.
No, Chris, you go first.
All right, go, Chris.
So I'm going to put the Raiders at 4, Broncos at 3, Chargers at 2, Chiefs at 1.
Simple.
I think the Raiders, the biggest thing about them is that they won't be the snoozer on afternoon red zone anymore, because my God, last year, whenever they panned to those games, they were ugly and boring, and I didn't want to watch them. And there was usually only 3 games going on. But I think Denver is good, not great. I think people are overrating Bo Nix a little bit. Some people are putting him in that top 10 conversation. That's not right, in my opinion. Chiefs are still number 1. Chargers are 2, just because I think they're better than both those teams.
Sam, don't say anything outrageous. Please go.
It's not
Broncos-
outrageous.
The Broncos
This is
aren't
literally
winning the
not
division.
outrageous.
They're not getting
This is not
second.
outrageous.
You're gonna get one of those 2 to 20 like
I was gonna
comments
say
on
Broncos
TikTok,
first.
aren't
It's
you?
just, I mean,
Raiders,
buying into the hype.
Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos in that order. You'll see later. You'll see later.
Bro, I just the
It's
Can you
Broncos.
repeat that again?
Sam, the
Can you
Broncos
repeat that again
Yeah,
just for
won-
TikTok?
yeah. I'll repeat it again. The Raiders in fourth, the Chargers in third, the Chiefs in second, and the Broncos at 1.
The Broncos will not win. They
they
probably
will.
win one game in their division.
Yes, they
this year.
will.
I'm not even kidding.
They're going to win that division.
They literally will not. But
I don't get the Broncos hype. I really don't.
I never
really
understood
don't.
it. Last year it
I
was
don't know
still
why
it was
this
crazy.
is going.
They're not dynamic on offense at all besides Cortland Sutton.
Bo Nix is not a superstar, and I don't really know what he's done to prove that to people.
Have we watched RJ Harvey tape? Have we? Have we looked at that offensive line?
I would argue
Looked
RJ
at that
Harvey is even
defensive front
becoming a
seven.
little
He has two in the
overrated at
secondary
this
leading
point.
the way. Dude, Nick Bonito is the best
Stop.
linebacker, I should say, in the National Football League. Nick Bonito, dude. He's going to lead the league in tackles this
It's
year
Fred
and
Warner, guy.
probably be the top in linebacker sacks this year.
Listen, Sam, I understand you like their defense, but we have to understand that Bo Nix is in his second year. You are talking about sophomore slumps with Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. What about Bo Nix? I mean, seriously, he started off horrible last year. Did we forget that? They're 1-8 against playoff teams. They barely beat the one team that they beat, which was the Chiefs in the last week because they rested everyone. Okay. If they didn't rest everyone, the Bengals would have been in the playoffs, not the Broncos. You know that, right? Listen,
Yeah, I do. I'm well aware.
the Broncos are the most overrated team. More overrated than the Patriots, in my
Yes.
opinion. I don't
Yes.
understand where this is coming from. People are calling Broncos division, the Broncos for the West. Since when? They got swept by the Chargers last year. They barely beat the Raiders last year, and they should have got swept by the Chiefs last year. There's no reason in hell that the Broncos should be ranked over the Chiefs.
And can I say that
Chargers
RJ
and-
Harvey, I think, is becoming perhaps even a little bit overrated at this
Yeah.
point. I have seen him on every single, like, he's a dark horse fantasy, he's a dark horse running. He's not no dark horse anymore.
At what
He's just
point?
wide open.
At what
And look,
point do you
RJ Harvey, I
graduate
like
from the
RJ
dark
Harvey.
horse tier?
I like RJ Harvey. He's a great running back. The Broncos have a great offensive line. But if we're expecting this guy to be like a top 5 running back in the league, like I've seen some people say, I mean,
Marion Hampton's gonna be better.
Are you kidding
You know
me?
what team he's
Like,
gonna?
this-
You know what team he's on? The Chargers. Okay. No way you think Harvey's gonna be better than Hampton.
All right, let's move on. I think this is a good time to move on to the North.
Listen, AFC North, Ravens. Oof, that's gonna be tough. Ravens. Geez.
I think there's a pretty clear answer here.
Give me A-Rod second. Bengals, Browns. Listen, I think it's in the correct order. Bengals, they're great. If their offense is on point, they're going to be a playoff team. But their defense is still a problem for me, Brandon. I just do. I believe that the Steelers have a very good balanced team. Aaron Rodgers can do whatever he wants to do besides run the ball, but he can make any pass you want. The Browns are just a shit show. So I think that's in the correct order.
Give me the Ravens first, but I think that the Bengals are second. I think that they have a legitimate chance of getting the first in this division again. Again, I'm not sold on their defense either, but I think with the amount that they won last year and the injuries that they went through, the team that we saw in the second half of the year is the team that, unless they get, really injured again, is going to be the team we're going to see this season. That's when they're healthy. They're winners. As much as Nazir might not like it, I think that Joe Burrow is one of the top quarterbacks in the league, right up there with Lamar Jackson and a Josh Allen. I really do. And I think that the Bengals have a legit chance to win this division, but I'll put them second. I'll put the Steelers third. I think the Steelers are still going to make the playoffs this year, and I'll put the Browns fourth.
I don't think Joe Burrow is capable of doing what he did last year again. I just don't think it's going to happen.
He's done it multiple years now, though. That's the thing.
I know,
He's done it
but
multiple years.
we're still going off of 5 years ago when he made the Super Bowl and lost. And we gotta move on from that. But Sam or Chris, go ahead.
So I'm going to go with Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. I think the two in the middle are kind of a toss-up. At the end of the day, I just like the firepower on the Bengals a little bit more than Pittsburgh. They'll have probably a 9-8, maybe a 10-7 season again. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers is necessarily like a ceiling guy anymore. He's more of like a floor type of quarterback. He's going to raise your floor, but he's not going to raise your ceiling at this age. He just can't move like he used to.
Well, the Steelers also, I mean, besides DK Metcalf, the options to throw are limited, to say the
the playmakers aren't quite there. And is Jalen Warren still their RB1 this year?
Yep.
Probably. Caleb Johnson's
Johnson will.
When it's all said and done, it's going to be Caleb Johnson. But Baltimore is far and away the best team in football right now. I've got them at first.
Yeah.
In second, I'm going the Bengals too because of that firepower. Because you got to score points to win games.
I think a balanced team is better than a one-sided team.
I think Pittsburgh, if Aaron Rodgers wasn't on that team for me, would be the most boring watch in the NFL.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, but there's also 3 guarantees in life. It's death, taxes, and the Steelers finishing above 500 with Mike Tomlin. So
I didn't say boring doesn't win games. I just said they're going to be boring.
They're going to be a sneaky 7 seed possibility. I don't think they're going to, but they're going to be in the wild card hunt all the way through the end of the season. 11th, 3rd, and then the chaos that is the Cleveland Browns will be in 4th place.
All right. Well, that is our ranking for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that segment. That's a fun one that we, been wanting to do for a while. Listen, we're getting into our final thoughts. We don't have time for our last topic of the day, which is going to take a long time either way. But final thoughts, guys. Nolan, it was great having you back on.
Good to be back.
Please come back on more. You and Drew, we miss you guys. Jalen will be back on maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. But, this was fun. We're going to make our power rankings before the season starts next week. NFL power rankings. It'll be fun. And that's pretty much my final thoughts. And we need to stop talking about the Broncos so highly because I don't think it's going to happen. But I'll go straight to you, Nolan. How are you feeling? Final thoughts.
I have some financial advice. This
ahead.
is not actually financial advice, but I have some some amateur financial advice, I should say.
A little query, if you will, a little inquisition, a little.
Put that little that little tagline they always have about when people are actually giving financial advice, being like, "This is not financial advice," when it really is. But take all your money, drain your bank account, go to your nearest casino or sports book, and put all of your money in on the Chiefs Super Bowl because it will happen this year. And as much as this is not financial advice. As much as
put a little asterisk right there.
Want to run from it, dread it. It's going to happen all the same. The Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce Super Bowl. It's going to come to fruition now that they're engaged, and the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl again this year. I can almost guarantee it. Almost guarantee it. I just see it happening. As much as I don't want it to happen, it will happen. We're going to see it. The NFL is going to cash in on it. They're furiously rewriting all their scripts right now for the season. And the Chiefs, we will see them in the big game again this year. And the only way that they can lose is if the Packers get there and beat them. But otherwise, it's going to be a Chiefs Super Bowl.
Anyways,
so Nolan, you're telling me I'll see you at Hard Rock tonight is what you're getting at.
Hard Rock, yeah. Oh, they got a sports book there, yeah. I mean,
it's small, but
I'm going to get my ticket. I'm going to get my ticket somewhere. You gotta. I think they're plus 800 right now.
I still have my from Caesars in Vegas my $2 on the Brewers World Series this year. So
there you go.
I got that back
was not
in February.
Financial advice.
No financial advice.
Not financial advice.
Nope.
That was not financial.
Not a professional game.
If you have a problem, seek help. Anyways,
there's a number for it.
So the Brewers coming off a bad loss last night, pitching it good. Eric Fetty literally just pulling the guy off the street, saying, "Hey, dude, you give us 6 innings,
pitch for us."
And you know what he did? He gave us a solid 5 innings.
Sure did.
That's good. That's what we needed. We need the rest for that bullpen. That was his job. His job was if he gave up 2 runs or if he gave up 10. He was going to go out there and just throw batting practice if he had to, right? We needed the rest. Last night was a throwaway game, but we still nearly won it. Now, today is a must win. I'm pretty sure they're an afternoon game today before they take off and head up to our neighbors up north for 3 this weekend. Got to win today. Have to win today. The Cubs did you a favor again last night. Lost. They're losing the series to the Giants. Hopefully getting swept. I will be hate watching that. Got to win today, though. Churrio's coming back either this weekend or next week against the Phillies. Hoskins is coming back next week against the Phillies or the series thereafter. You got guys coming back. Andrew Vaughn is still hitting tanks. They're just going right at people right now. He's struggling, but you still have the feeling when he comes up to the plate that something is going to happen. Something good is going to happen. Every time he steps up to the plate, he's had an elite eye since coming to the Brewers. That's what this Brewers team is all about. It's having a great eye at the plate, getting on base, and manufacturing runs, right? The big boppers are coming back. This is a great stretch to get started right now to get us to 100 wins, first seed in the National League, and get us to the frickin' World Series. For the love of God, it needs to happen. I'd fall on a sword if it meant the Brewers winning the World Series this year. Like that, it's got to happen.
So I'm gonna go to a different Wisconsin team. I think that people are sleeping on the Bucks a little bit this year. I don't think they have a bad roster at all, and I think that they have the chance to make a top 4 seed in the East. There's a lot of people that are saying that these role players are bad, and my brother and I had a 20-minute conversation about this the other day. Sure, they might not be the best supporting cast in the league, but there are a lot of role players that are going to be able to help Giannis, and I think they built this team pretty well around him to just set him up with shooters. Just set him up with shooters. He'll be able to drive and kick to different guys. Kevin Porter can create his own shot. Sometimes he looks like a G Leaguer. Sometimes he looks like an MVP. Just depends on the minute, really. And Miles Turner is just a more athletic Brook Lopez who can still shoot the 3, can still block shots. And, yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk here.
Hey, man. I love the Bucks takes. I love the Bucks takes. Hey, we're going to get into NBA season pretty soon here. Next month or so, but for now we're talking some football and some baseball. Listen, everybody, thank you guys for joining today. Nolan, Chris, Sam, always good having you guys on. We'll get Jalen back on here soon. Andrew Best back on here soon. Hopefully we can get all of us on here one day. That's the goal. That's always been the goal. And thank you guys for watching, our loyal fans, Jalen, Jordan, Adam, all those guys.
Jordan, the Padres are far ahead, better than the Dodgers right now. I need you to stop that.
Oh, okay.
I need you to stop that.
Oh, here we go. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Follow us on every social media account, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, and more. All right. Love you guys, and we'll see you soon.